And hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 3 of the Watderdhavian Job. I am your DM, Brad, joined today by 4 of my 5 players. Last week, Mike couldn't be here. This week, Morton can't be here, so we've swapped them around, traded one for the other. But regardless of that, we are going to go ahead and continue with where we left off. And in the traditional fashion, one of the players here will be giving a recap of what happened last time. And this week, that player just so happens to be Thor, who has been voluntold to do it.
Voluntold.
So, if
Love
you
it.
would please tell us what happened last time on the Watderdhavian Job.
Yes, indeed. The strange, familiar sensation. The pull of the fugue plane. As I lay here in the empty void awaiting my inevitable demise, I can't help but think back, try and analyze what occurred, what brought us to this situation. It had begun earlier today when the Lady Valerie Candencia von Bourbon decided to take upon a commission from a Volo what's his name? A Volotam Gerdram, otherwise known as Volo, famed otter. A friend of his, Floon Blagmar, had mysteriously gone missing, and Volo was in quite a hurry to get him back, fearing that Floon Blagmar might not be long for this world. The instincts of this otter proved correctly, but as we would later find out. Following the trail laid before us by Volo, we were able to find out that Floon Blagmar had been kidnapped by a group of thugs working for a black network, the Centrum. He was not alone when he was kidnapped. More likely, it was his associate, a René Neverember, who was the main target. Floon just happened caught in an unfortunate crossfire. So, but having tracked them down, we found an abandoned, or at least empty for the most part, old warehouse where we took our way in with the help of Sir Reginald and Lady Valerie's ingenuity. Inside of the warehouse, we found bodies piled on the floor. The remnants of a gang fight, one between the Centarim and the Salatar's Thieves Guild. We weren't yet sure who had gone victorious before we were ambushed by a group of nasty, fluttering Kenku. They took us by surprise, but we are no strangers to the odd scuffle, and so we quickly dispatched of them. Though the last one fled, we were left in the warehouse to investigate at our own behalf. And in our investigation, we did find the hidden René Neverember. It seems that the Salatar's Guild, had been victorious when they attacked the Centaurum's hideout, and confusing Floon Blagmar for René, they kidnapped Floon and brought him with them. After explaining ourselves to the late City Watch that arrived at the scene, René was in a hurry to recover his compatriots, and so, with the help of Basic, we tracked down the fleeing Sanatar's members down into the sewers. After having tussled with a few of the Sanatar's guild, we had come to a set of stairs in the tunnel leading upwards. And Sir Reginald all stormed ahead. We heard the signs of fighting as me, Lady Valerie, and Lord Neverember ran up the stairs as well. And the sight that met us was one strange one. A small, dog-sized, brain-looking thing with legs. An orc with flaming arms, I presume a wizard of some kind. And so Reginald standing there in a slight daze, seemingly confused as Basic was firing at the orc. That was the last thing that I saw before the flames and the warmth enveloped, and then the darkness took. That is how I got here. But I do not seem to be quite dead yet. It seems my work is not yet complete.
What work? What plans do you have, Sheldrake?
Nothing at all. Don't mind yourself.
That was a good birthday speech, Sheldrake. You can sit back down now.
Oh, very welcome, Lady Valerie.
Go ahead and mark off your point of inspiration, and let us get back into things where we last left off. Here in the depths of this Xanathar Guild hideout within Waterdeep's sewers, we have most of the party having been knocked unconscious in some way or another, either by their fellow party members or the flames of the half-orc wizard Grumshar. And now Rainier, Basic, and Dricken are scrambling to essentially take their unconscious forms. They have all been stabilized, and hide them away in an effort to just sort of keep low and try to recover. So, as we sort of get back into things, we see Rainier basically kind of like dragging this dwarf, and Bassett kind of like grabs Valerie, and Rainier looks over to you, to Dricken, and he says, could you get the other one? And he says, let's drag him into one of these side rooms here, behind the curtains. And he gestures over to the two sort of curtained rooms to either side here. And begins dragging.
I'll try.
Yeah. I don't think Sheldrick is too heavy.
No,
You take up a piece of paper and I look at my strength score. Yeah, I should be able to.
So yes, the three of you work together to drag your three unconscious companions into this room and kind of take up watch in front of it. Floon as well is put in there. And yeah, Rudier sort of like lets out this like heavy, exasperated sigh, and he says, "Nothing else for it but to wait, I suppose. I'm sure they'll come around soon enough. In the meantime, keep an eye out. I feel as though this place was soon to be abandoned anyways. I don't think we'll suffer any sorts of attacks, but you can never be too cautious. I'll keep watch down over by the stairs."
Where did we come from?
You came from the north, this way, from these stairs.
Did
And
Morton say
that's
last
the
session?
stair, those are the stairs he said keep watch for.
Yeah, he'll keep watch because, as far as he knows, and you know, that's the only like major entrance into this area.
I'll like walk up here and like keep peeking around the corner every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't Morton last session say that he tied up Zach's character or something like that?
yeah,
I believe so. Yes. I believe Reginald has been tied up
and
in some way or another.
and he wanted to cook for us for when
Cooks
we
the
wake
original.
up.
Yeah, so you all settle down and begin the process of taking a short rest here in the sewers. It will basically, after an hour, everybody who is unconscious will be able to spend their hit dice from the short rest, and then I'll go ahead and just spend Basic's hit dice for him. He's what, a D8? No, he's a ranger. He's a D10.
Right, so even we who are unconscious.
Yeah,
or-
so even if you're unconscious, you can still benefit from a short rest.
but you
You're-
don't wake up.
No, you do. You wake up and you recover your hit points and whatnot.
Oh, really? Okay.
The staying unconscious thing is only if you don't have like hit dice to spend. Then you'll
okay.
wake up at 1. But if otherwise, you can still benefit from the rest.
Nice.
Wait, you add your con to your hit dice? when you roll
Yes.
them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course.
I've not been doing that.
Ever?
I
Well, if
I
you
don't
use
think I've
these,
been-
if you use the sheets, it does it automatically most of the time.
Oh, then okay, I
Yeah.
probably have
I
been.
was about to say, like,
All through Curse of Strahd, I was just like, did I not use it any time? Okay, but I guess it's fine.
all right. And as you all sort of like rouse from your unconscious state, and your head's sort of groggy, vision kind of like blurry from being knocked out. Reginald, you especially, as you sort of like wake up, you're not exactly sure what occurred. Like there are gaps in your memory as you come to consciousness, and you sort of like vaguely recall being in some sort of like confrontation, but you're not entirely sure like with whom. Or for what reason? And as you wake up and like go to move about, you find that your arms and legs have been like bound and you're like tied up. But you all rouse from unconsciousness here.
Did we win? I think we won, right?
Yeah, we're alive still.
Draken. I see you have decided to join us.
Yes. I was.
Well, he's been here the whole time.
I thought
I
we
was
left you.
biding my time.
Where's Rainier?
He is.
He's out here.
Yeah, he's. If you say that, he shouts from the other room, like, I'm here, keeping watch.
I'm glad to see you are all right, Lady Valerie.
I turn to Sir Reginald. Are you okay, Sir Reginald? Do you recognize me?
Why is he tied up?
He kind of attacked me a little bit.
And looks down. And I can see a slight smoke on his face. I always knew the scoundrel in you would show sooner or later.
I don't think his faculties were all his own. Have you recovered, friend?
You're muted, Zach. If you're trying to say anything, we can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
No, I can see your lips moving, but I can't see.
We see your lips moving, but you can't hear you speak.
Something has gone terribly wrong. Well, anyways, as he is trying to fix this problem,
Here he comes.
you all, as you're gathered around here discussing, suddenly the terrible smells of the sewer that you have been within, and also your own clothing at this point in time, are sort of overtaken by the wondrous sense of like freshly cooked meals, the sort of like herbs and spices of Basik's food preparation here, and you hear him approaching, and he has in his hands basically this large kind of like pot that he's carrying with a hearty stew that has been brewed from. Well, you probably don't want to know what it's been brewed from down here, but it smells
You get
good.
those little snacks.
Yes, indeed. So he can prepare it for a number of creatures. So he can prepare it for up to 6 creatures. So the 4 of you, all 5 of you, and Floon, Rainier will abstain. So you.
Can you hear me?
There we
Yes.
Well, it's not going through the right headphone. I'm just going through my camera headphone. Like this one ain't working.
go. Oh, cool.
So anybody who regained hit HP from hit dice gets an extra D8 on top of that. So if you're not full, that'll probably top you up
Ooh.
there. And then he hour of work when you finish a long rest. Yeah, no, not that one, but yeah, that. So he makes a meal from from something. And then yeah, so as you're all coming to, you hear this groaning, and you see the sort of like reddish, like cherry blonde haired man who was with you, like unconscious there, presumably Floon, kind of like rousing, and he's like, "Oh, my head! Oh, what a terrible night of drinking! This must. Where the hell am I? What's going on?"
You got a bit kidnapped.
And he's sort of like,
Sewers.
and you see, as you're, I assume you take this conversation out into the bigger room.
Yeah.
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 The Reginald's still tied up until I get response.
So as he's saying this, Rainier says, "I see that your interrogation must have addled your nerves more than perhaps I expected." And he says, "Yes, there was a grave kidnapping." And he says, "These Xanathars, they mistook you for me back in the warehouse where we were kidnapped by the Zentarum. It would seem as though today was not our lucky day. But we have. It is good to see that you are safe." And he kind of like walks over and like kind of like claps him on the back. And you see Floon's like very confused, like notice like looking at him. Are any of you proficient in our Arcana at all?
I am.
Okay. Looking at him, you can tell just at a glance that he is. His confusion seems to be this sort of like side effect, like an after effect of some sort of like mind manipulation or something of the likes. And this is what's causing his confusion. It is likely that his memories were modified in some way. And that is where the confusion is coming from.
Troubling. It appears you've had some sort of spell cast upon you. Your memories of recent times may not entirely be your own. It appears that someone went rooting around in your noggin.
And says, that would explain the pounding headache, I suppose. Well, no matter. It's. I am safe, and for that you have my gratitude. But I just don't. Who are you people? I don't recognize any of you. Well, except Rainier, of course, but.
I am Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon, of the von Bourbon family of Waterdeep. These are my retainers from my household. Your friend, Voloframp, was the one that asked us to go look for you. Needless to say, we didn't expect it to take such a turn, but here we are.
And he sort of like smiles and says, Volo, wow, the old chum. He says, I must remember to buy him a drink on me next time we meet. He says, and he kind of like looks around, and he says, perhaps we should seek a way out of here, though. These smells of the sewer are overwhelming my sensibilities at the moment. It is not exactly the best place for conversation.
Indeed.
Well, we can always go back the way we came, but first of all, and I make my way over to like Sir Reginald. Are you quite alright, my friend? Are your faculties back to yourself?
Capable of speech.
Are you able to speak?
You're.
I believe I don't quite remember what happened there, young miss.
I don't know either. I came up the stairs and suddenly you were on the side of the enemy. I think you had some sort of spell cast on you. Probably that Grumshar fellow.
You just see shame
We don't know
across
his
his
name.
face, like the shame crossing his face is like, I am terribly sorry, miss.
Think nothing of it. 'Twas not your fault. So, I'm sort of like looking cautiously over at Sheldrake. We're going to untie you now.
That might not be for the best, at least not right away. I do
Well,
not
we'll
want
lead
to
you.
risk anything.
Very well, we'll lead you out then. Oh, by the way, Brad, during the short rest, would it have been possible to mend the equipment that got melted a bit?
Yeah. It takes
Alright, cool.
a minute or so to go through and like mend each piece of equipment to restore it.
Yep.
Remove the
Fair enough.
pockmarks.
Could we? I don't remember if we did this last session or not, but can we roll anything to recognize this? Not sure if I did or not.
I believe somebody. Yeah, I think last time when you saw it, like I had people rolling.
I think I remember I rolled, but I rolled really
Yeah, I
badly
said
and
if
didn't-
you were proficient in Arcana, and she just rolled really badly and had no idea what it was.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I sort of look over at Rainier and say, well, let's try and find a way out of here. And what is that thing, anyway? You seemed very scared when you saw it.
And he sort of like looks to it and says, indeed, and he says, rightfully so, those things are terrifying creatures. I encountered them but once and nearly didn't escape from the ordeal. He says, they are known as intellect devourers, the playthings of terrible illithids and other such denizens of the Underdark. He says,
Would I know what an illithid is?
yeah, you would know, basically. Like, everybody knows what a mind flayer is, right?
Oh, I know what a mind flayer is?
Everybody well, I mean, maybe
if
you
I
don't.
would've I assumed I didn't, which is why I punched it.
Well, at least I would say everybody of like a certain level of education, right?
Uh-huh. You're dumb dwarf.
What the hell is a mind flayer? Or not mind flayer, but an illithid.
An illithid. Well, that explains you two, and I gestured to Balloon and Sir Reginald.
So, so Reginald, or actually, no, actually, turn to Bassett. When you entered this room, did you see any creature that's something humanoid, with perhaps tentacles on its face?
Yeah, he says, now that you mention it, I think I did. It was... Shut up.
Now that you mention it, I believe I did see that.
And he says, it went there, and he kind of like points into the other room. It's gone now, though. Don't know where.
I'll peek my head into this room.
Yeah, looking into that
What do you
room,
see?
you can see it's like a plain square room, but there's a pillar in the center of the room, and you can see that there is a carving on that pillar, this small symbol of this perfect circle with 10 equidistant spokes radiating outward. The same symbol that was kind of like drawn on the walls of the sewer, but this is like carved into the pillar. And there is a circular indentation in the center that seems as though it is currently like empty, but looks as though it could hold something.
Oh god, we gotta find the thing that goes in there.
A mechanism.
Why?
Because it's a puzzle, Zach. You can't just ignore a puzzle.
I
Well,
believe
maybe
you.
there's...
Yes, go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, maybe there's a quick way out from here. Maybe we should have a look around.
There do seem to be stairs going up over here. Are these upstairs or downstairs?
What's behind this curtain?
Those are stairs that they would go up. Yeah, they go up a little
Alright.
bit.
I'll point out something. There are upstairs in this room, young miss.
So yeah, if you want to take
Wonderful.
take a moment to like search around,
Yeah.
you certainly can. Yeah, Rainier sort of says like, these types, they have hidden passages all over the place, I imagine. And he says there surely must be some easier way out. And you all split up to search. So if you would like, whoever has the highest investigation bonus can go ahead and just make a check for everybody.
That'd be me.
Yeah.
Would I get advantage from?
Yes,
from
you're
help?
the help of the group essentially.
20.
All right. So with a quick look around, you find a number of things. First things first, just looking in the room that you're in, you notice that down in the southern alcove there is a throne, like I described when you entered. There is actually a small like wooden chest tucked behind the stone chair that is unlocked, and you notice that the half orc, his robes sort of ragged and damaged, has a satchel, sort of like leather bag slung over his shoulder that has a number of objects inside of it. As you're rummaging around, you see this large, somewhat burned and kind of like ragged looking tome in the satchel. And then yeah, there's this small wooden chest. It does not appear to have any locking mechanism on it, so far as you can tell. And then, in addition to that, you actually find, through your search of this area, you find two areas of the wall where the flagstone is like loose and very poorly concealed from this side. There is one back this direction that as you open it leads back to the main sort of like sewer lines that you first entered from. And then in this northeastern room up here, the small room up here, there is a stone that conceals what appears to be a narrow passageway that tunnels through the walls, and seems to stretch on for some distance.
Does it look like that's part of the sewer, or does it look like that was carved?
That looks as though it has been added after the fact. This is a more recent construction than the sewers itself.
Interesting.
I'd rather not go down that long passageway, lest we end up honeycombing our way through underneath the city itself. But I will take the tome that the orc has, Brad.
Yes, indeed. You may do so. Looking through it, if you just like leaf through it, it is very obviously a spellbook of some sort.
Neat.
Maybe I can give that to Alexei.
Yeah, those level 1 spells are going to be very useful. I mean, never know.
Could be very useful.
Exactly.
Crackling.
But yeah, the rough-hewn tunnel seems to be, as far as you can tell, it's about like 20 feet long from end to end. It's just like narrow, pretty like roughly made.
Okay, let's see what's in the chest then, guys.
All right, opening up.
Locked?
No, it is not. Opening up the chest, you can see that there is 2 small vials with a bright red liquid within, which you immediately recognize as potions of healing. 16 gold coins, 82 silver coins, and 250 copper coins.
How many coins it is in chat, please?
Yes. Oh,
Potions,
and then
eh?
there's the chest itself, which you could take if you want.
Put on if your mic's back. Oh, it's not
It's
working
rasping
again.
and we can't hear you.
Oh, the wires are.
I don't know what's wrong with it.
I think it's the cord. That sounds like the cord is rubbing against something. That's usually the kind of sound you get.
See, the thing is there's no cord. It's wireless.
Well, that's very
That's
strange.
Yeah.
I think
Okay
something's
now,
wrong with
yeah.
it. Like, it's got to be positioned very specifically, otherwise it won't work, or it will make weird, crackly sounds.
It's probably the connection then.
There might be a connection or like a...
The little... Does it plug in with a little like dongle or whatever?
It has a USB,
Yeah.
is what it is. There isn't a dongle for it.
Well, I meant the mic itself. Is the mic like connected or is it like a plug-in thing?
No,
Is
the
there-
mic's connected itself.
Okay. There's no jack or anything like that.
No,
Is
no
it-
jacks and no nothing. It's all wireless. And like the headset works fine. I can hear you guys perfectly. It's just the sound.
Strange.
Like the mic.
I was just thinking of like the connection between the microphone and the headset itself. Like, if
Maybe.
Well, it's fine now for the time being.
Yeah,
so-
if I move it, it won't be fine.
well, just don't move it a single inch.
Yeah. Well, I guess we can divvy up the contents of the chest a bit later. Let's get out of here.
Yes, exactly the. And then there is also I should mention there is also one more passageway that you find. This one, however, is down kind of back to the main area. There is this very kind of like narrow pipe, basically, like that you could theoretically squeeze down, but it would be very uncomfortable.
Okay. Well,
That's
I
where the
think
most gold is.
I think you should probably see where the stairs go rather than following strange passages.
Well, the stairs lead up to that. They lead up to a room that has a dead goblin in it, the arrow slit, and then that's where the secret door back to the main tunnels are.
Oh.
That's all it leads to.
It was
I guess we
it's
are
a-
going back the way we came.
It was a dead goblin that looks like it's seen the fear of God.
It's got this terrified expression on its face.
Yeah.
Brad, what did you say the slot in the pillar looked like? Like, what shape is it?
So the slot itself is just like basically like a hemisphere, right? Like a small, like it looks like a spherical object would fit inside, and then it's the centerpiece of this circular design with 10 equidistant spokes around it.
Right. Okay. Could I do a check to see if I recognize what the symbol is of the spoke?
Yeah, you can make a history check.
22.
So you're not this specific symbol. You're not entirely sure of its like history or function of anything of the likes, but the symbology is easily recognizable to you as something to do with the Xanathar's Guild. It is sort of their kind of iconography, right? And the
Okay.
The resemblance to this sort of beholder, right? The large central eye and then the 10 stalks sticking out from it.
Okay. Fair enough then. I want to leave now.
Sure.
Me too. Please just leave.
Yeah, going back the way you came, while time-consuming, would be relatively not much of an issue. Trekking back through the sewer sludge and whatnot.
Yep.
All right, so then, very well, we shall go the long way.
What's the worst that can happen?
Another beholder.
Nothing at all. Yeah, so you take the long trek back through the sewers, and eventually emerge once more out of the alleyway, and into the streets of Waterdeep. And as you're sort of like looking around, sort of getting an eye for the situation. Rainier and Floon sort of each kind of like bow their heads and says, again, let me thank you for saving not only myself but my companion here. And he says, we owe you a great deal. I must confess I don't have much to my name, as estranged from my father as I am, but should you ever need shelter, he says, I have a place in the Sea Ward. It used to belong to my father, but it is mine now, and you are free to stay there if you would like, or need to for whatever reason.
Rainier's letting us use his little villa.
And
Yeah,
he says,
it's-
I,
sounds like it's
I myself do not spend much time in such a place. It gives me bad memories of my father, but my friends are free to come and go as they please.
Well, thank you very much. This was Rainier. This is the dock ward, right? Did you say?
The Sea Ward, which is like
Sea Ward.
far to the northwest of the city.
it's a better, a little bit
Yeah, it's
better.
nicer. Yeah, like it's another kind of like noble district essentially. Like a lot of noblemen and the likes live there. It's an upper end place. Not quite as fancy
Right.
as the North Ward, but on a similar level.
He says yes. Thank you very much, Rainier. Although we may have to request those weapons that we loaned you back.
Yeah, and he sort of graciously returns the returns the weapons. And he says, "A fine build they are." And he says, "I trust they will see good use in your hands." As he like returns them, and he says, "Well, this was certainly something of an adventure. I wish you the best of luck." And he says, "If you don't mind, Floon and I are going to go seek the nearest bathhouse. Purge
Yeah,
this
it's probably not a
reprehensible
terrible
stench."
idea. And I sort of turn to Floon to say, when you're done, you may want to go see your wife, though. She was the one that pestered Volo into finding someone to go look for you. She was quite worried.
You just see this like look on his face as suddenly he's like recalling something terrifying, and he says, "Oh right, thank you again." He says, "I perhaps we might see each other again soon, but until then, take care of yourselves. And although I do not have such a fancy noble manner to offer you, I will do whatever I can within my power to assist you should you need my help."
Thank you. And I bid you both farewell.
Yeah, and so they wave as they sort of like go wandering off, looking for the nearest bathhouse to cleanse the taint of the sewer from their clothing.
Yeah. My lady, I believe it prudent we return to the manor so that you may get cleaned and have a change of clothing.
Yes.
So it does not
It
do
is.
for a... Carry on.
Yeah, I was gonna say yes, and it is quite late. Volo can wait till the morning.
If you say so. So, he did say he would be waiting in the tavern for a couple of hours. Who knows where he might be staying?
Ugh. Very well. Let's just go speak to him and then head to the manor afterwards. I'd rather get this deal done and dusted with, so I don't have to worry about it anymore.
My lady, I must protest. It does not do to walk around for a lady of the Bourbon family to walk around dressed as, and he like gestures to like the all the dirt and mud and shit.
Fine.
Yes.
You need less poop on you.
And the refuse.
Yes, to the
I'll sort of say, well, he was already hesitant to pay us. Maybe this might give him an incentive to get rid of us quickly.
This is like,
Let's just get this over with.
well, if my lady insists.
Gritting her teeth, like, you better fucking have the money.
Very, very well. So, then returning to the yawning portal, I take it?
Yep.
Right, you wind your way through the back alleys, back out to the main road, and make your way to the yawning portal in a relatively quick time. It is now later in the night, so traffic has slowed down. The roads are not as crowded as they are during the day, so it does not take you nearly as long to return as it took to leave from that place. And as you arrive, you can see the scene is bustling. The tavern is packed full here during the sort of prime hours of operation. As you enter in, no one even seems to pay you any mind or attention. And you can see, looking around, a somewhat nervous-looking, short, rotund figure in the corner, whom you immediately recognize as your patron, Volothamp Gedarm. And as you sort of like enter, his eyes gazing at the entrance, he kind of like waves you over to a table in the corner. And as you approach, he just says, "My friends, it is so good to... Oh God, what is that smell? You seem as though you have been through quite the adventure." And he says, "I hope it was not too excruciating. Did you find him?"
Oh, it was... Yes, Floon is safe, but yes, it was very excruciating. Now, do you have the payment?
And he says, "It is so good to hear that my friend Floon is safe." And he says, "And as for the payment, I know I said I would have the coin, but it would seem as though there are certain volatilities in the market, and I was unable to liquidate as many assets as I would quite like. But never let it be said that Volo reneges on a promise. I have something much, much more valuable, though I am reticent to part with it, given its place in my current venture."
This
And
was sending in Reginald.
he sort of reaches into his vest and pulls out a tube and sort of like places it on a table, and he says, this tube contains a deed to a remarkable property here in the Waterdeep, an investment in real estate much more valuable than simple gold coins. This could bring you a continual profit, if you would. Now, I must confess it will need a little bit of cleaning up, and it will need a magistrate to witness the transfer, but I will happily arrange for one once you've inspected the estate and perhaps cleaned yourselves up a little bit. Perhaps tomorrow I can take you there and show you around."
Proper TA. Murder this guy, right? Can I insight him, Brad? Is this man trying to dupe me?
You can.
I'll figure it out for you,
yeah,
miss.
you can make an insight check, yeah, if you would like to, or at least one of you can.
Well,
12. No, he doesn't seem to be, and like as you kind of like look in, he's left the deed on the table as you kind of like open it up and look it over. It does in fact appear to be a legitimate deed. It's been notarized by the magistrates of Waterdeep for a property called Troll Skull Manor.
okay.
Would I have?
Have we heard of
can
it?
you-
Yeah.
Yeah, make a history check.
Ah, shit. I keep thinking I took because I was thinking of taking history, but I don't think I.
Oh yeah, I know everything about it.
Everything.
You
I
could
did not
assist me
take-
more.
Yes, I will assist you with a history check if possible, if that's allowed.
Sure.
20.
Okay. Yeah, so the both of you would could kind of collectively know that Troll Skull Manor is a rather like old building in the North Ward. It's actually not far from the Von Bourbon estate. It's actually further down the same road. Thunderstaff Way eventually ends at a place known as Troll Skull Alley, which was basically built around this manor that has been here for like a long time. It is like a historic building that has at many times served as different functions. At times, just a residence for a noble. Other times, it has served as like an inn or a tavern. But in recent memory, it has changed hands many times. And in fact, there are rumors that it is haunted.
Ah, wonderful. A haunted estate.
Yes.
Although
lady,
this is all speculation and rumor. Nobody
Yeah.
has ever like confirmed it.
My lady, I like whispers like, though it's just like I do not like the way this Master Gedram is treating such a vital business transaction. I must agree with him that the value of an up and running estate would far outshine the value of the mere. What was it? 500 coins, golden coins.
Yeah, I think it was
that
like
he
100 each.
Yeah, 500 gold that he promised us. Even if it is in a, even if it is not in pristine condition, the eventual gains of rebuilding and putting it into work should outweigh any costs.
Yeah, so Valerie would think on it for a few seconds. Very well. Tomorrow, then.
And he sort of nods, and as he sort of like takes the scroll, seals it up, puts it back in his vest, and says, "Very well. Then I shall meet you in the castle ward, where we will seek a magistrate. I will have everything set and ready to go."
Excellent.
It should not take any time at all. And he says, and with that, I must be away. He says, "I wish you the best of luck, and if you go down the road and make a right, you will find a nice bathhouse I can recommend." Just
Fine.
a
Heading
suggestion.
back to the estate.
It is fine. We thank you for the recommendation, Master Gerdram. But we have our own arrangements. If it wasn't for the urgency of our meeting, we would have waited until after we had already relaxed.
And sort of, he sort of like nods and says, "I see. Well, in that case, a good day to you. Again, I must be off." And he kind of like quickly like steps up and says, "I will remember this. You have done me a great favor, and though this particular transaction's debt is paid, perhaps I may have need of your assistance yet again in the future. Or perhaps you might have need of me. I am, of course, a great and knowledgeable author of many things. Do not hesitate to find me if you need anything." And with that, he kind
I will
of
keep that
bows
in
and makes his exit.
All right, let's get back to the Bourbon estate.
Mm. Although, like, as we're making our way back, like, Sheldrick probably would like muses like, yes, perhaps given his prior writings, your sister would be interested in introduction for whenever she gets around to having her her legend commissioned.
Couples. Yes, I can imagine so. I think she'd also be interested in this, and I sort of like, flop around like the burnt spell book.
So it's like, yes, of course. We
All right. So you leave from the yawning portal, returning to the Von Bourbon state, far in the north of the city. It takes a while, walking through the streets, maybe like half an hour, 45 minutes or so, before you return. It is now basically like the dead of night. The stars are out in full force. The candles lit along the roads.
Is the Troll Skull Alley marked on the map anywhere?
No, not currently.
Okay.
Troll Kill Street. Does that count?
There's also Troll March.
I can. Here we go.
Boop. Okay. Wow, that is close.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Yeah, like Sheldrick in particular. There are a number of like shops, and essentially like within the alley, it's not just like the manor itself. Like there's this alley that was built up around it, right? There are a number of like shops and establishments there that you've probably visited from time to time, just picking up like commissions or whatever for the Von Bourbon family. So you're probably like somewhat familiar with the area.
Okay, indeed.
But yeah, as you all return home, the servants greet you at the entrance with trying their best to
Prepare the bath.
not make any like abject remarks about the smell and state of your appearance. And as you enter into the area, you tell them to prepare the baths, and they go off to do so, and you hear the pounding of feet as running to the door, you see Valerie, your mother, Consti, kind of like rounding a corner, like coming like arms wide open as if to hug you, and then she like gets almost to you and just like recoils like immediately at the stench and your appearance, and she says, "Dear gods, Valerie, what have you been up to?"
We were trudging through the sewers, Mother, looking for a man.
It's just like we have my lady, your daughter has done a good deed today, saving the son of Lord Dougal Neverember, who got into himself into some trouble being with the Sanitas Guild. We have also, she has also managed to secure a deal that will give us the deed of the what's it called, Troll Skull Estate.
Yeah, Troll Skull Manor.
The Troll Skull Manor.
So she sort of like, as she's like stepping back to within safe breathing distance, she sort of says, "Well, that is truly remarkable. I'm so glad that I have two adventurous daughters." And he says, and she kind of like looks back to the parlor room, and she says, "Perhaps you should go round the long way, because I'd rather not hear what your father would have to say of your current appearance."
Good idea.
Says,
well, we shall go do that then.
I will
probably
keep.
retire for the evening.
She says, "I will keep this adventure a secret from him for the time being."
Thank you, Mother.
Yeah, so she sort of like
Alright.
waves you off as you head back out and kind of like around to where the baths are being drawn, and basically take the time to thoroughly clean yourselves off and find a change of clothes. These servants just take the old ones and like burn them. They're useless now. There's no saving them.
Is there was gonna say, is there any do we have like estate guards of any kinds, or is there just
There's a small kind of like guard force. Like it's very like it's like a few people. It's not like a large like militia, but there's like a few at least.
yeah?
We,
I
we
would, I
actually
would,
have,
Sir
we actually
Alamir
have no
took all
guard.
of them with him.
Yeah, Sir Alamir was it. There's no one
Sir
else.
Alamir was it.
Yeah.
You probably
I'm
there's
going-
probably like 2, 3, maybe 4 like in total.
Hmm.
Like they
I
keep watch
will-
over the entrances and whatnot during the night and all that.
Right. I will then approach whoever is the acting captain of those in Alamir's in Alamir's absence.
Podrick.
Approach the
Podrick.
No,
Podrick's with Alamir.
Podrick's with or Elamir. No, probably Vendrick.
Yeah, Vendrick. I'll approach Vendrick after getting cleaned up, of course.
Of course, yeah.
As is Vendrick. And says, I must ask a bit of a curious request. This is a request that you and your guards keep an eye on Sir Reginald for the time being. During today's affairs, he may have had a run-in with an illithid, and it may have addled his mind. He seems fine for the time being, but I don't want to have any relapses.
Yeah, so he sort of like nods and says, "As you wish, Master Sheldrake. We shall keep a post on his chamber door. Make sure he is not compromised in any way."
Much appreciated.
Yeah, he sort of like whistles for one of
And
the
then
one
I'll
of the other
walk off.
guards and kind of orders them. All right. And if there is nothing else at this point in time, it is late enough at night that dinner has already come and gone, and so you all clean up and basically set in for the night, and we can
Yay.
pick back up in the morning after a long rest, restful night's sleep, as you all wake up the following morning bright and early.
We level
Just
up.
once, if in case you guys didn't see it in chat earlier, from that gold, we would each get 3 gold pieces, 16 silver pieces, and 50 copper pieces each, and with 1 gold and 2 silver pieces left over.
Perfect.
316 and
3, 16, 50.
Yeah, so what should we do with the leftover money?
With 1 gold piece and 2 silver pieces and left over.
And as far as that, you do indeed have enough experience at this point to level up. However, we will save that for between sessions rather than taking the time out to do it now.
Indeed.
I can't infuse, but I want to infuse things.
I mean, what's the chances that we are going to, encounter something that's going to try and kill us this session?
don't say it. Don't say it.
Yes. So, as you all are ready and meet back up again in the morning, I assume you would like to head to the meeting place.
Indeed.
How long do basic snacks last for?
They last for let me see here. I believe it's 8 hours. Yes.
We said a basic made cookies
Yeah,
this
so
morning.
he makes them at the end of a long rest. So he can make 2 currently. So 2 people can have basically you take them. You don't have to use them right away. But when you you can use a bonus action to eat one, and you gain temporary hit points equal to your proficiency bonus. So you gain 2 temporary hit points, and up to 2 of you can have them currently.
I'm gonna take one for myself.
Of course. Yeah, so it's like a snack, right? So it's like this sort of like maybe like some like jerked meat or something like that. Just like a nice little
Or
snack.
a biscuit.
Yeah, like a biscuit.
Yeah. Well,
I say Sir Reginald should probably take the other one since he's the.
Well, I was thinking like I can take one, Sheldrake can take one, and then Reginald and Basic can both have the healing potions.
Oh yeah, that works.
Alright, I'm fine with that. I'll take a healing potion.
What about Dricken though?
He
You
gets
lose.
nothing.
You get nothing.
Takes what master gives them.
God.
Well, there was 2 healing potions.
Yeah,
So
you can't
I-
give him
I-
anything, otherwise his indentured servitude ends.
Yeah. We can't let the bird people feel like real people.
Oh my god, this is becoming
Terrible. You're
Forest.
terrible people.
Well, there's 2 healing potions. So Dricken can have one, Reginald can have one, and then me and Sheldrake will both have snacks.
And then Dricken has nothing.
No, I said Dricken gets a healing potion.
With clothes.
Dricken and Sir Reginald.
Chicken is
I thought you said
free.
Batic. My bad. I heard Batic.
Bassick isn't here. He doesn't get him.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't get anything if you're not here.
Oh, we can't let the cat person feel like an actual person.
He's staying at the manor today. Alright.
He's not here for his feelings to be hurt. Yeah, he just stays at the manor. He has to cook. He has to prepare. There's a big meeting going on between your father and some associates. So he has to prepare a big
A perfect
big-
time to not
big
be here.
establishment.
Let's
Yes.
go
So much hate
To
for
the
the furries.
to the castle ward.
Good choice, mistress.
All right. So you all travel through. Today, if you would like, your father has plans meetings within the household, and your mother is staying behind. So the carriage, the family carriage, is free to use. So you may take it to travel the streets and save yourselves a bit of time walking through the masses.
Excellent.
Wonderful.
Driver dwarf is ready.
Driver door. Oh yeah, you're a driver, aren't you? Okay. Very well. So Reginald, the castle ward.
Right away, mistress.
All right. So you you take the pile into the carriage and begin making your way down the busy streets. There's quite a bit of traffic, but it is still much faster than walking per se. As you make your way down to the castle ward and the meeting point, where you had arranged to meet with Volo, and you, as you arrive, you see him sort of like standing outside a magistrate's office, like this kind of courthouse style building. And he kind of, as you sort of pull up, find a parking space, parallel park the carriage, and you
Left.
all exit.
Left.
I hard left.
Hard left. Yeah, and you all pile out, and he greets you all, and he says, "Excellent, excellent. I have arranged for the magistrate on duty to oversee the transaction, and there, I must confess, there is a small fee that is usually paid by the new owners. However, your friend Rainier has graciously provided coverage for it. So," and he kind of jingles a bag of coins.
Wonderful. Well, let's get this transaction finalized, shall we?
Yes, I'm so. This will.
Yeah, and I suppose like as we're walking.
Now
I'll
you would
take
know,
those-
as like members of Waterdeep, that like he's not lying about that. There's an
No.
estate transfer tax, which is normally paid by the new owners, but
Yeah.
he-
I'm not saying that he's. Bro, I'm just like that Renee has paid for this. Yeah, I'm sure he has. I'm sure it's not just like here's thanks Volo for looking out for us, even though you didn't. here's some money.
Oh yes. So as you all enter into the courthouse, there is a bit of a wait as the magistrate has other transactions and cases to hear before yours. You're there for maybe about an hour and a half or so in the waiting room, just sort of like idly like waiting for your turn to be
As-
called, essentially.
As we're waiting, I suppose I would like ask Volo is like, so how did you manage to secure the deed to this estate in the first place?
And he says, well, it was a long story. He says, the previous owner, unfortunately, passed away under strange circumstances and had no next of kin, so the manor passed over in ownership to the city, as it does in such cases, and they held an auction. Of course, I had heard rumors of its disposition, perhaps, and given the subject of my next piece of work, I thought perhaps I might be able to investigate it and write a chapter upon it in my book. Alas, I never had the chance to do so, but I won it in the auction. Barely. There was a man. I do not remember his name. He was unimportant, really, but he was bidding up the price quite high. I was afraid I was not going to be able to afford it. It is actually the source of many of my current coin depredation.
And yet you part with it so willingly.
And he says, well, I have naught else to give at the moment, and, well, to be honest, perhaps if you take ownership of the place, you might allow me to take a look around if I need to for my new book. I will, of course, credit you in the novel. Send what business your way I might be able to. This is an arrangement that is beneficial to both parties, is it not?
True enough. Well, if that be the case, then I suppose I see no issue.
And if it does indeed turn out to have that the rumors of its situation is true, it should be easy enough to resolve.
So Reginald, how do you feel about fighting ghosts?
I have never had to fight a ghost, mistress, but if it comes to it, I will give it my best.
Fear not, my lady. I have some experience in banishing such ill-begotten phantoms.
Where are you from again?
Oh, man.
This is from
You've never heard of it.
Here and there. from around.
from several places, wandering a lot, my lady. Though Waterdeep is now my home.
Take a little scooch away from Sheldrick.
Oh yes. So eventually, your turn is called, your number, and a lot of you proceed into the courthouse, where there is a brief sort of session taking place overlooked by a magistrate by the name of Kylan Silverhelve. And the deed is transferred. Volo signs over the papers, and your ownership is now sort of made official with the stamp of this magistrate, who definitely handles this in a very rushed manner. Like, normally these sort of things would have a lot of questions attached with them. It seems she's quite busy today, so she's just very, very quickly kind of like moves through it, collecting the estate tax, which Volo hands over from this small pouch, and you are all sent on your way as another case is brought into the courthouse to be looked over. A rather busy day, it would seem, here in the castle ward. And with that, as you exit from the place, Volo sort of like bows and says, if you would like, I could take you and show you around the place. I have not been there many times myself, but I have been enough to give you a lay of the land, I suppose. I says, or you can take a look on your own time.
I should say, it's like,
Carry on.
she said, well, we'd enjoy. I think it'd be good to have you come along. We have a carriage parked over here.
And yeah, he sort of like pulls at his collar and he says, right, well then, let us be off. And he kind of like makes his way towards the to the carriage.
So
And,
Reginald,
it's
Trollskull Estate.
It's getting a little cramped inside. One of you basically has
I-
to probably like sit
I
with
don't
sit
lie.
with the driver.
I
or fly
put back
over,
on my driver's cap and be like, of course, my lady, right away.
I mean, you did say that you were interested in investigating the place personally, Master Gerdrum.
He says, well, yes, but I had somehow imagined that there would be more of a preparation to it, experts in the field, the right equipment, but never mind. This will be an excellent opportunity. Come, let's go. And he, quickly is like kind of like banging on the front of the carriage, like, come on, let's go.
I'm already going.
All right, cool. So yeah, you all set off once again, navigating your way down the streets. It takes maybe like an hour or so here in the early morning traffic to make your way through, and then down, kind of turning off the high road, making your way down to Troll Skull Alley. And as you arrive there, go ahead and see here. I don't know if dynamic lighting is enabled on this map. If it is, I will turn it off. No, it is not. Okay, cool. You should be able to see.
Everything is black.
Oh, right, because you don't
Blackness.
have. Really?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Dynamic lighting's not on.
Volo has come to talk with you again.
Here.
Oh God!
What about now?
Oh, there you go. Now I can.
Freedom.
There we go. I get the light. I see it all.
Hold on,
Zach,
let
you
me
still have no HP for fuck's sake.
glow-
Yeah, I don't know why it says I have 16.
Well, you never did it on your token. It's probably not
Oh,
linked up
sorry.
properly. Yeah.
I was doing it the wrong one.
Interesting. I can't like just
Fool.
reveal everything. Weird. Anyways, so as you all arrive here from the northern road into Troll Alley, which is down this way, you see to your left, as you enter in this large estate, lumbers over the road, and let me see. I think there's even like a
Get out of here, bastard.
handout?
You're back home.
Delete.
Just the floor plan.
Where are you going, Sheldrake?
Okay. So you see that to your left there's this 4-story tall
No, that's basic.
this 4-story tall building that towers over everything else in the alleyway, with a number of balconies, this sort of like turreted tower, and a number of like chimneys sticking out of the roof from various different places. It is a little bit run down. The roof needs repairs. The walls are kind of like they've seen better days, but it's this grand, sort of impressive 4-story tall building. And as you enter in, exiting out from the carriage having parked here, Volo sort of like opens his arm wide in a gesture of just like, here it is, and he says, and this marvelous building here, right at the heart and the entrance of Troll Skull Alley, is none other than the Troll Skull Manor itself. And he says, quite a historied building. It is served as a tavern and inn, as well as many other things of the sort. And he says, and it is of course yours now. He says, if you would like, we could take a look inside, or perhaps you would like to meet the neighbors first. And he says, there are quite a number of establishments here around, many interesting people to talk to. And he says, perhaps you could even while away the entire day having conversations with these people and not stepping foot in the purportedly haunted manor.
I assure
Stand
you.
out.
I understand. I assure you, Master Gerram, I am quite familiar with this locale. I have many times walked in these marketplaces. These establishments have provided services for the Bond family in the past.
In before,
Yeah,
there's
so
like
you-
an image of like a mother like like ushering her child through the door. It's like, get in, it's Sheltrick. Let's see what's in the manor first.
Yeah, so he smiles and says, excellent, then of course you shall have no trouble fitting in with the locals in that case. Right, and he kind of like reaches into the bag. Well, where did I put that key? I mean, it would be so unfortunate. Oh, here it is. And he sort of like pulls it out and like hands it over to you, Sheldrake. And he
I
says,
take the
very
key.
well, after you, my friend.
Thank you very much.
I will be
Master
back
Gerram.
here. He kind of like moves to the back of the group.
You are certain you do not wish to investigate upon a closer inspection? I
And
say
this-
as I walk up to the door and put the key in the keyhole.
And he says, no, I am quite certain that my investigations would be best served from back here, where perhaps I might observe the goings-on.
So this
And
building
yeah,
right
you-
here,
Yeah, so it's the to the first building to the left as you're entering into the alley. So it's on the right of the map.
This one,
Big,
yes.
yes, this big one right here.
Yeah.
And the front door is kind of down over here. There's like a porch balcony basically that opens up into. There's like a double door essentially. As you open it, as you move forward to look, you can see the windows are pretty like heavily dusted. You just like looking, you can't see into them quite well. But as you get close, what's your passive perception?
14.
14. As you get like close and you're like putting the key into the lock, you hear the sounds of like rapid footsteps on the old wooden floor on the inside, and the sound of like something being like knocked over inside as you like go to like open the door.
Oh, great. Squatters. I draw my dagger.
As I'm holding, it's like before I open the door, like as I'm like putting the key in, it's like, so Reginald, says if you would grab your implements, there might be someone that will need to be
Executed?
no,
Expelled.
Expelled, yes. Expelled.
Of course.
From the premises.
Whip out the warhammer and the shield.
All right.
Yep.
And then as long as the door is open.
And then I will turn the key and like open the door.
Yeah, the door groans loudly on the hinges as you enter in. As you go to enter inside, and doing so, describe here. And I assume Sir Reginald's kind of like next to you.
Yes.
And then you got the others kind of follow trailing behind. There is suddenly, Sheldrick, as you like push into the room, looking around, there is a like flash of motion in the corner of your eye as a small like a short figure kind of begins to make its way towards you. But your perception is high enough that you can see basically like as this figure is moving towards you that. It appears to be a small child of some description.
Kill it.
They are dressed in rather like tattered attire with like long sort of unkempt black hair. A small girl wielding what appears to be like a wooden sword, and she blows past you. You see, there is another child on this.
Sounds like an opportunity attack to me.
a small, somewhat overweight looking, darker skinned human boy who kind of like is wearing this like mask. He has his arms up like he's chasing after the girl. They like blow past you, and then you see suddenly across the room a third figure kind of like jumps up onto like what was the old bar. This small tiefling boy who is similarly in like ragged attire, wearing a mask that has been like sculpted to vaguely resemble like a troll, and he lets out like a loud roar as you like enter into the room, and like then suddenly like they realize like you've entered. They all like stop and kind of like scatter a bit. But you see the tiefling boy is still like stood there on the again. What's with
Darkness.
the total darkness?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Why is it always darkness?
Sheldrick's come speak to you again.
Why for such darkness?
There we go.
Oh god, the kids are huge.
Oh my god, they are.
Yeah, well,
Children.
normal size
Retreat!
tokens. Normal size tokens. So.
Yeah. So
Retreat.
so they're scattering.
Yeah, so the two that were like that ran past you kind of like scatter over and like go to like try to like hide behind this hearth, and the one on the counter is standing there, and as he enters, he says, "Who dares enter the haunt of the Troll Skull King?" And he's like waving this like wooden sword in your direction. "Cower before me!"
Tomo turns to increase volume of voice. It's just like. I am Sheldrick, Major Domo of the von Bourbon family. I come here with Lady Valerie Condencia von Bourbon, the new owner of this Troll Skull Manor that you are currently trespassing upon. For your own sake, I suggest you come out now and quietly exit the premises. so that we can avoid any legal ramifications.
I look back behind me and I say, just give it a moment, young miss. There seem to be some urchins in your new establishment.
Oh, goodness sake. Find their parents and tell them to get out.
And so as you shout, he sort of like cowers back like a little bit, kind of like he like kind of like falls down on the bar, and he's now like sitting on the bar. And you hear like a gasp from across the room, and you can see like they're trying to hide. There's not much to hide behind here. And as you say that, and the kids are kind of like looking around, just like wondering what to do. Sheldrick, suddenly, from like the corner of your eye, you see again like motion, and this empty like mug that was sitting dusty on the top of the bar suddenly like flies in your direction. Can you make a dexterity saving throw for me?
Oh
Ah, fuck! It's actually one of these kids has fucking mage hand, and they're throwing things.
Yeah, so you easily duck out of the way, and the mug shatters against the wall. The kids immediately like look at each other and just like run. Like they just like bolt for like the back door of the place, having seen this like floating mug just like flying through the air. And they just
give no attention to the kids as I just turn towards like the whatever this mug came from, and just like, who is there? Show yourself.
Yeah, and as the kids are, as you say this, and the kids like are jumping out, they're doing the old like angel beats, jumping out the door, out the window thing. The tiefling kid kind of like pulls down on his like lower eyelid, sticking out his tongue at you, and he says, "This isn't over. The Troll Skull King will be back for what's his."
I just look at a kid and give him like
well, he's gone. He's
oh right.
Yeah,
he's gone. Yeah. This is curious. And I look back towards like again, like looking towards where the like mug flames, like, who is there? And says, show thyself. And I'm gonna try and look and see if I see anything.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
Persuasion, performance, perception. Ooh, nice.
So as you take a quick look around, you can now see the full sort of degraded state of this tap room. The broken and like covered furniture lying around the place, the rundown bar. There is evidence of other like shattered glasses kind of piled around. A number of kind of like dusty, empty bottles on the shelf behind the bar. But as you take a look around, you do not see signs of any other living person within the room. And as you kind of like take a few steps forward, the floor like creaks and sags heavily beneath your footfalls. But other than that, there is no sign of life, no even like hint that there is somebody else here other than yourselves.
Can I come in yet, Sir Reginald? Zach?
What's that?
Can I come in yet, Sir Reginald?
I'm not quite sure, young miss.
I'll take that as a yes.
It does not appear that there's anyone here anymore. The children all scattered. Did they break the windows as they jumped out of them?
No, like the window was already like broken.
Ah, okay.
It's just an empty frame.
I sort of like look around, and like I want to get like take another step just to like feel the like floor creaking.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not like in danger of like collapsing underneath you, but it's like pretty like heavy, like every single time you take a step.
Well, yes, definitely looked like it was once a tavern. Probably needs new flooring. Might have to get
Master Sheldrick.
Yeah.
There's I think there's a door in the floor here.
Yeah, on the other side of the bar, there is what looks like a hatch, like a trap door, essentially that opens up.
Probably a trapdoor to the cellar, I imagine.
Yeah, and
Where's the stairs up,
opening it
Brad?
up, as you like, if you look inside, you see there's a short staircase that leads. It does indeed lead down into a cellar.
Where's the stairs up, Brad?
And as Volo is sort of like entering, and he says, "This here is what was once the tap room." And he says, "The pantry and kitchen are there on the other side of the bar. There is a fine wine and ale cellar down below. As for the other floors of this place, currently, in the current floor plan, there is no way to get there from inside here. There is a staircase at the back of the building that leads to the other floors. We have to go out and around."
Interesting. We need to get that corrected then, if we're to turn this into something.
Well,
maybe-
originally the place was a residence, so they liked the separation, but if you wanted it to serve as an inn, perhaps you would, yes, have to open it up in some way, an extension or an addition of some sort, or just moving the stairs.
Well, let's see what's on this floor, and then we'll move down into the cellar.
Right, yeah.
does it-
Pantry and stuff.
Does it seem like this door would lead out or to a different room?
That all the doors here would lead outside, essentially.
Alright.
There's a back door in the pantry, there's like a door in the kitchen that leads outside.
This floor is just
Into-
like
into the
dilapidated.
alleyways.
Like, is there any sign of any like residents, like
No,
people that have been staying here?
it doesn't look like it's been lived in a long time. There's
Okay.
no evidence that anybody has been like living here, at all.
I guess those kids just found a spooky house and came to have some fun. I guess. I'll pull open like the hatch to the cellar.
Yeah, there's a short staircase that leads down. Looking through the cellar, you see there are a number of like old like barrels stored down there. But as you kind of like take a look around, it's clear that the place has fallen into some disrepair. The foundational walls of the cellar are kind of like cracked and crumbled in places. Definitely in need of repair. You probably have to get the Cellarers Guild on that one before this place-
Cellarers Guild?
the Cellarers Guild. And get that fixed before the place is ready to go. But as far as like looking at the place, there's no like actual objects of value. There are a few casks that you find that are like full of something, but as you open them up, you get that heavy sort of smell of vinegar, wine that has like spoiled and turned to vinegar, which still useful, but not for drinking really.
All right. Okay. Doesn't look like there's much here then. Should we check the other floors?
Indeed, we should check the entire premise.
Yeah, so if you say so, we'll lead you around to
These
the
windows
back.
are they all boarded up then? There's no
Yeah, a
fire.
lot of them are like boarded up or like broken in some way, in need of new glass.
Okay. Alright, so I guess we make our way up to the next floor.
Yeah, so making your way up to the next floor, you go out and around into the back of the alleyway where the staircase up to the next floor is. There are 3 more floors in total. Looking through them, they are similarly sort of like run down, like creaking floors, kind of like groaning doors, and like just furniture that's either like been broken or just like old and kind of like covered up. Nothing of any like real or apparent value. There is, like I said, several more floors. On the first of those floors, the second floor, there's a large sort of like common room area that probably at once served as well a common room, and that leads into a hallway that has stairs up. I'll just drag you up here, and you know what? Fuck it. We'll just, I mean, this is your house. I'll just delete all the fucking dynamic lighting layers.
Yes, it's my house.
That's what we'll do. There's no reason to have dynamic lighting on a map where nothing happens.
I own it. My name's on the deed. This is right here. Sheldrake X. Wait, what?
And then here, let me.
My, how did that get? Oh, there's 3 stories.
It's a
Oh,
total.
how-
It's a total of 4-story building.
Ooh.
Yeah, this is bigger than my estate.
But
First
the
floor,
top
second
the top floor is basically just like attics, attic
Okay, then
space.
maybe not.
A
But there's
garret.
yeah.
Ale cellar, wine cellar.
So, is there nothing in this estate at the moment that's of note?
No, yeah,
There's
none
the
of.
kid.
Well, no, they're not there. They fucked off.
Chicken. Kill.
What?
Just kidding.
I do as I bid, and I kill Lady Valerie.
Whoa!
Why is there a ghost?
Why is there a ghost there?
There's no ghost.
What
There's a
ghost?
purple ghost there, Brad.
There's,
I don't see a
there's
ghost.
no there's
Why are you
no
lying to us?
there's no spooky ghosts or anything.
There's no spooky ghost. Where do y'all see a spooky ghost?
Yeah, there's
Ghost
no,
is gone.
There's no spooky ghost.
I thought I saw a ghost. Oh my god, this is the next level immersion gaming.
All right,
Purple
James.
thing.
James dies. He's dead on the floor. You have to take a
Oh,
picture
God.
for the insurance money.
Nice.
Yeah, so this is the first floor, which is the tavern. Then there's stairs that lead up here onto the second floor, and then this is the third floor, which has a number of bedrooms and baths, as well as what was once a library, although all the books are like rotted and like moth eaten. Obviously, that will need some work, and then of course there's a storage and another bedroom up in the attic, and then there's also like a tower kind of area that at once. Probably it served as some sort of, I don't know, like recreation place, essentially. To observe like the surroundings, you know. Just, I'll look out.
Well, there's not much here to be expected, but it has a lot of potential.
And yeah, as you sort of like lead through, and you finish the tour, meeting back up on the first floor, and Volo says, "Well, what do you think? Truly a magnificent building, is it not? Such great history this place has."
Yes, and I'm quite pleased with the potential that this might have. You do any number of things with it. And she nods and says, well, maybe we should go see some of the neighbors. Sheldrake, you seem to know your way around.
Certainly. And yeah, I'll lead them to whoever it is that lives here.
Sure, yeah. So you'll as you go to exit, everybody like piles out of the building. Sheldrake, as you're like exiting, you see the one of the windows sort of like heavily dusted over. Something like begins to like move. And you see suddenly words kind of being written in the dust on the window, and they say "closing time" as you exit and make your leave from the place.
Eyes narrow, thinking to myself, well, we are going to have words with that.
What was the name of the guards? That guard's name at the estate called again?
Vendrick.
Vendrick.
Rendrick?
Vendrick.
Vendrick, right? Okay. As we like walk out, I'll like turn to Sheldrick and say, Sheldrick, once we get back to the estate, maybe send Vendrick and maybe get Vendrick to send a couple of men over just to keep an eye on the place tonight, in case those kids come back or any other squatters.
I shall do just that, my lady.
Wonderful. All right, let's meet the neighborhood, everyone.
All right. So I'm moving back over. You exit from the manor. And yeah, so there are a few places here in the alley, a few residences. Let me just go ahead and do the same dynamic lighting here. There's no reason. There's literally no reason for this to exist.
Tokens.
Tokens.
Tully,
Tokens.
Tokens.
That feel when-
Fellbranch, Embrick,
That feel
Ivy.
when D&D just turns into a neighborhood sitcom.
I suppose we'll just go clockwise around the neighborhood, as it were. There are a number of kind of like residences here, like smaller residences, all the kind of like unoccupied or unlabeled buildings, essentially. Here, let me just GM layer. So that's Troll Skull Manor. So the first building here, clockwise around, is your.
Is this connected to Trollskull Manor? Or is this a different building?
They're different buildings, but they're all crammed together in that sort of like city style, right?
Right.
So they're
Yeah,
like,
so-
they're kind of like all jammed
This is
next
the
to each
manor.
other. That's the manor
there's,
itself, yeah. And then there's just a bunch
Three
of
other
other
buildings.
buildings
Yeah.
jammed next to it,
Ours is
haphazardly,
the nicest.
if you say so.
Mhm.
The first building, basically clockwise around, of any import, is a small shop, which is it has a sign above the door that is bare. There's no like words or anything, but there's a large like bent iron nail like literally sticking out of the sign. And this shop, Sheldrake, you would know as the Bent Nail. It is a carpenter's establishment. The owner is a male half elf by the name of Talisolvanar, also known as Tally to most people. His elven name a little bit difficult to pronounce many times. He sells, wooden weapons and shields and crafts, and sells furniture and sculptures. You have contracted with him a few times to, produce decorations or furniture for the Von Bourbons. He's not the best. He's not a master craftsman, but he's definitely capable of producing excellent work. You'll probably be in need of his services, refurnishing the establishment.
Yes.
He knows not to give you subpar work, Sheldrake. Not after last time.
So Tally Solvana Fellbranch, running a carpenter running the Bent Nail. While he specializes in furnitures and decorations, I'm certain we will be needing both if we are to fix up the manor, and for the flooring problem, I'm sure he can recommend us to some other master craftsmen or other craftsmen of good repute when it comes to carpenting.
Friendly fellow.
I would say so, yes.
So you
Don't say much
walk by
then.
that. The next building, clockwise around, you see there's a this building has multiple, like many windows. All of them are open, and there is smoke and steam billowing forth from many of the windows. You would know it is like an indoor forge. It doesn't have like an outdoor, so it's all vented essentially with all these windows. And as you sort of like walk up, you kind of like open the door, like a little bell rings, and you see inside, standing at this sort of like counter of the entrance here, in the sort of shop area of this forge, this sort of tall, slender, blue-skinned man, a water genasi, who kind of is dressed in sort of Kalashite style, like loose, like kind of silks hanging and sort of emphasizing his form. And as you sort of enter, he like smiles and like greets you, and he says, "Oh, new customers," and he says, "And a familiar face, I see. What can I do for you?" And just through, you can see the doorway that leads inside, and you see working at the forge this large, sort of well-built, red-skinned man with hair that is like literal flame. This fire genasi. You would know, Sheldrake, that this is Avi is the water genasi, and Embrick is the fire genasi, and they are a couple that owns and operates this business. And as you enter, she sort of like greets you warmly.
No, and it's just like pleasant day, Avi. And it says, This is Lady Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon. We are merely taking stock of the markets today, as we have recently acquired the deed to the Trollskull Alley. The Trollskull Manor, not the alley. Trollskull Estate, Manor. Fuck.
Christ.
Yeah,
What a mess.
so he smiles and he says, to finally meet the young lady in the flesh. It's a pleasure. So, you're the latest, fortunate owners of that dilapidated tavern. Perhaps maybe you'll be able to do something with it.
Yes, I've had a few ideas, but none concrete. We just had a look at it ourselves. There were some children playing in it, so I guess it does need to be fixed up.
And he sort of nods and says, well, and he says, if you're in need of services of a skilled smith or locksmith of any sort, my husband and I are more than capable of such things. And he says, I myself, being a member of the splendid order of armorers, locksmiths, and fine smiths, and my husband, the most careful order of skilled smiths and metal forgers. He says, we're pretty much the best of the best when it comes to this sort of things. I hope to perhaps that we might be able to provide you a service in future. It would do.
Yes.
I said it would do well for this whole place were that tavern back up and running. Imagine the traffic it would bring in.
No, yes, I trust that we would require some services like that when the time comes.
And he
I'll
just sort of
definitely keep you in mind.
he just sort of shouts back into the back room and says, Embrick, the new neighbors are here to say hello. And you see the fire genasi stops, like basically like pounding on the ingot that he was working on, and just sort of like grunts and waves and like goes back to what he was doing. He says, not exactly a people person, but I'm sure he's happy to meet you as well.
A man dedicated to his work is always a pleasant thing to see.
Alright then. Well, I guess then we'd probably bid them good day. See the other places.
Sure thing. The next place around you see is a stately 3-story townhouse, probably the second most impressive building in the alleyway, next to the Trollskull Manor, just in terms of like height and actual like. Actually, it probably looks a little bit better since it's actually like lived in and taken care of. But as far as size, it's second. You can see that the top floor of this place, rather than the standard sort of like wood and stone walls, the walls have been replaced with translucent glass, and inside you can see that there is a veritable like rainbow of flowers and various other sort of plants that are growing within the top floor of this building, which has been converted obviously into a greenhouse. And as you enter inside, you see this another outgoing looking wood elf with long braided hair entering inside. As you sort of like approach, you are sort of like greeted, and you would know, Sheldrake, that this particular elf, their name is Fala Lefelier, and as you enter in, they just sort of there at the counter say, welcome to Corlun's Crown. And he says, are you in need of herbal remedies or potions of any sort?
This is, thank you, and good morning to you, Fala. Says, no, says, we are simply taking a tour around the Trollskull Alley today. I gestured towards like Valerie. Says like, this is Lady Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon. She has she's newly acquired the deed to the Trollskull Manor, and this after our tour of the estate, we are now just taking stock of the neighborhoods.
And they sort of they nod and say, it is good to know one's neighbors and familiarize oneself with their surroundings. Says, if you are ever in need of herbal remedies or potions of any sort, I concoct such things. Says, of course, if you're taking ownership of that old tavern, Perhaps I should look into something to balance the humors should you come into contact with any otherworldly creatures.
What do you mean?
This is, well, they say the place is haunted. After what happened to poor Leaf, I should not be surprised.
I sort of look back at Volo.
And he says, I
Leaf?
told... Yes, the previous owner, a half-elven man. There was an unfortunate accident that occurred. A loose beam fell and, he did not exactly survive the endeavor. What to say? It's a tragic occurrence.
I turn to Fala and it's like, oh, is that what you mean?
And they nod. And they say, yes. It was an unfortunate accident. I was quite fond of Leaf. A very outgoing person. That tavern was his heart and his soul. Everything to him. I suppose his spirit would be distraught given its current predicament.
How long ago was this?
And they sort of kind of think for a moment. Says, it was quite some time ago, a few years. The estate was in dispute for some time before the city claimed it and auctioned it off.
Dispute between who? Was
It
Leaf
says-
not childless?
He was. There were some unscrupulous folks claiming to be distant relatives, but it was quickly disproven. He had no close kin, nor any living relatives willing to come all the way to the city to claim it.
Hmm.
Do you know the name of these unscrupulous people?
They just sort of shake their head. I do not deal with those sorts.
Well, hopefully they don't come expecting anything.
Yes, I sort of like glance over at Volo. And then I glance
It's hot in here.
Volo just sort of like shrugs.
And you do, you do not remember. You said you don't remember who it was that tried to outbid you.
And he just sort of shakes his head and says, alas, I never really got acquainted with him. He seemed a rather angry sort when I won the bidding. He stormed off in a fury before I could shake his hand or, get to know him.
I look at Fala and I look back at Volo and it's like, would you define him as unscrupulous?
And he says, well, I am certainly not one to judge by appearances, but he seemed well enough off. His clothes did not speak to me of a man who lacked in scruples, for that matter. And he certainly had a lot of coin behind his name, at any rate.
Oh my god.
There's,
Alright.
there's that that empty space here mean a lot.
Yeah, the fuck off a lot. Anyway, I sort of look to Fala and say, well, it was good meeting you. We should be on our way.
Yeah, they sort of nod and said, perhaps we will meet again in the future. Best of luck to you.
We don't like the way she said that. Alright, next place.
Sure, this is one of my people. I see. I like this elf.
All right. So then the next area, we'll just go in order. So the next area is
T5.
to the north. T5. This building, as you approach it, Sheldrick, you may have made use of the services of this particular person. You can see that it is an unremarkable looking building from the outside. The only distinguishing mark is this orange and black sign featuring a cat's eyes. Perhaps we'll say you've been there maybe like once before. You would know that the owner of this particular establishment, which is known as the Tiger's Eye by the locals, is a human man by the name of Vincent Trench. who dresses in a sharp suit and is often seen smoking a slim pipe, wearing this sort of long brown overcoat, sort of trench coat style. He is a man who deals in information and basically investigating. He is essentially a private eye who can be hired
What
out.
a PI.
Yeah, he is.
PI.
Yeah, he's essentially can just he will. His business is uncovering secrets and investigating things around the city, and he can be hired for such things. Perhaps you have made use of his services in the past, perhaps not.
Interesting.
But you would know that he, in particular, does not like to be bothered for no reason. So you think it best to just
Yeah.
not bother him.
I would just explain this like, and if we would be looking to, if there was any theft or thievery, or perhaps we were looking into gaining some more information, we always have the, what's the name of the shop?
The Tiger's Eye.
Tiger's Eye.
Yeah, it doesn't have a name, but that's what like the locals call it because of the cat
We have
eye.
we have the Tiger's Eye over there. Vincent Trench is a skilled investigator, though he is not the most personable beings.
I understand. Well, we'll leave him alone for now then.
Indeed.
All right, and then finally the last establishment, T6. Here we go. This one,
Over there.
way over there, basically at the end of the alley, essentially. You see that the front of the store is adorned with a charming sign of a gold dragon curled around a treasure hoard filled with books and scrolls. The inside of the shop is decorated with beautiful hardwood, and there is the earthy scent of old books permeating the air as you enter inside. What is essentially, it's a combination of a bookstore and a library, filling the full like 3 stories of this building. And somehow, like on the inside, it almost seems as though there are more shelves in this building than it could feasibly contain, just lined with books of all sorts of subjects. And you see as you enter inside, at the counter, this short, sort of like aged looking, kind of like hunched over, dragonborn man with gold sort of tinged scales, who has these sort of like small spectacles hanging on the top of his snout. And as you enter inside, he kind of closes the book he's reading, and he says, "Welcome to the Bookworm's Treasure. How can I help you, oh curious ones?"
Like Alexei would have came here. A lot
And you would know
thinking
this
about
this man is known as Rishal the Page Turner, and he is the proprietor of this bookstore.
And this
Yeah, I'm sure
Nice.
Alexei came here a lot.
and this is like, Rishal, good day to you. He says, we are only here for introduction's sake. Lady, this is Lady Valerie Condencia von Bourbon, who newly has acquired the deed to the Trollskull manor. And after inspecting the manor, my lady wished to have a look around the neighborhood and introduce herself to any potential, well, perhaps business partners later on, but neighbors nonetheless.
And he
To make your acquaintance.
sort of nods and says, yes, I remember the old place. It had, at one time, such a glorious library. It is a shame what occurred to Leaf. I hope that you are able to make good use of that building and bring some life back into it. It would be
That is the plan.
a wonderful story. He says, well, if ever you're in need of a book to pass the time away, or perhaps to learn something, this is the place to come. And I am, of course, a member of the Watchful Order of Magists and Protectors, a renowned mage of no small skill myself. should you or any of your companions be of the wizardly sort, I could sell you some spells to scrawl into your own books. Or, if not, I could create scrolls for you to replicate these spells, should the need
that might be
arise.
Well, that may be useful, yes. Sort of but I don't think we will need anything like that for now. Pleased to make your acquaintance, though, and good day.
Sort of like nods.
All right,
Busy
is that all
with
the
you?
locations?
That is every one of the major notable shops, essentially, along the district. And
Okay.
Volo sort of says, and with that, you are now familiarized with all your neighbors. You have appraised the tavern, and I have business elsewhere, so I hope that you are pleased with the situation, and perhaps it is time that I bid you all adieu.
Very good. Until next time, then, Volo.
And sort of nods and says, of course, and as I said, do not hesitate to find me if you need my assistance. Says, I will be glad to help those who have saved my dearest companions.
And it says, I will definitely remember that. Good day.
So he sort of like bows gratuitously and makes his leave of the place.
So,
You are
this
all-
building right across the street, is this just like a house?
It's kind of like it's like a slightly smaller building. It appears to be like a vacant house, essentially, just empty and abandoned, much like the
Okay.
manor. And there are a few like buildings as such along the alley. It seems as though this place has seen better days. Here, kind of like tucked away in the North Ward. You imagine that back in the day when the tavern was popular, that fueled a lot of the commerce around this area, and with the collapse of the tavern and the lifeblood thereof, it has sort of fallen into disrepair, like the whole alley itself.
Well, if we were to get this building back up and running and make it a sizable commercial hub again, I imagine the city would take notice. That couldn't look too bad, right?
No, of course not. It will be profitable. Just as I said earlier, the value of this tavern, for the future of one at least, would far outweigh the measly 500 gold.
Yes, a new tavern and inn with my name on it, maybe. Mumbling to herself.
Yeah, perhaps.
You would wish to rename it, milady.
I feel so. Wouldn't feel right to keep the same name of a dead owner on it. If it's going to be under new management, it should have a new name.
I would remind the lady that this entire alley was named after this manor.
True. It does have a lot of historical significance, doesn't it?
Indeed, it does.
I'm sort of like thinking, well, what should we do now? I suppose we could start work on clearing out all the old crap.
I could, well, I could, depending on how much money much capital we have to put into this, I could start looking around to hire workers. Clearing out the building, of course, or of anything we do not wish to keep. We can always do as well. But whether or not that is work that should be left to us or left to others. But before any of that, I would suggest we have another look in the estate. There is, well, while I was there, I couldn't help but notice a few strange occurrences. I believe there might be some truth to the rumors that the manor is haunted.
Oh dear. So you're certain that there's possibly a specter?
Yes, or a phantom or ghost of some kind. Since there was the incident of the when I first entered and encountered the children, a mug flew out from one of the corners, but it was none of the children were in that corner. In fact, the opposite way of them. And when we left, I couldn't help but notice the dust in the window starting arranging itself into the words "closing time."
What time is it, Brad?
It's like early in the day, like midday, after all the traveling and the waiting at
Who
the magistrate's
closes an
office.
inn this early?
Yeah, it's only midday. Why would it be
Stupid
closing?
ghost.
I think it was telling us to leave.
Well, but it's fine with the kids being in there? Ridiculous. Let's have another look.
All right.
Indeed.
Returning to the manor then, as you all enter once more into the tap room.
So he died when a beam collapsed on him. When we were looking through, did we see any like, I don't know, beams from the ceiling like lying on the ground or anything like that?
Well, no, I mean, you imagine that when he was discovered, right, it would have been, dealt with. Then there was some questionable structural integrity you noticed, kind of in the cellar area. Like a part of the wall looked as though it had collapsed at one point in time. That could have perhaps been the area at fault.
I am going to cast Detect Evil and Good.
What's everyone's alignment?
It doesn't actually detect alignment. It detects
Disposition.
specific creatures.
Chaotic evil.
You're evil.
Yep, so it will. So, for the next 10 minutes, I will be able to tell if there's aberration, celestial, elemental, fae, fiend, or undead within 30 feet of me. So I will start walking through the manor while the effect lasts.
Sure, yeah. You're casting it right in the tap room. You basically get like a ping right away. As you detect the presence of an undead creature sort of drifting behind the bar area.
My lady, I have located our apparition.
Where?
There, I say. I point towards it.
Do I see anything?
No, there's nothing there.
Do I see it, Brad, or is it invisible light?
There's nothing there. Just air.
Behind the bar.
Behind the bar. It registers as undead. This is the powers of walking allows me these minor gifts.
Is it doing anything?
Nice. It is floating there.
I cast Fairy Fire.
Okay.
So what is your fairy fire like?
Glitter bomb!
As an artifice. A glitter bomb.
Glitter bomb. Of course.
You just see me like take out like what appears to be like this gourd shell that has like this fuse in the top of it, and I just like snap like I imagine maybe like a dried black thing at the end of it, and it just starts sizzling up by the bar and explodes into glitter.
One moment. I need to see if there's any special.
There is going to be a
Where the hell is it?
Think of it like the chaff grenade from Metal Gear 4. It's just everywhere, like no matter where you are,
Oh God.
and it makes that noise.
Cleaning that up's gonna be a right fun time.
Yep.
Might as well make a mess of the place while it's still a mess. That's what I say.
Fascinating. All right.
I agree with James.
You agree with James.
Sorry, I agree with the young lady.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody agrees with James.
Wow.
Forbid. God, what? Why am I way back here? G is at the front of the alphabet.
So what is this giant thing right here? This
I imagine
fireplace?
it's the pipe.
Yeah, it's a big old like hearth.
Hearth, so you can walk behind the hearth?
Mhm.
So it's like an open
It's like
hearth.
there's like a chimney. No, it's like a chimney like built in the middle of the room.
It's weird.
I've seen those.
I haven't. I always see them up against the wall. I like the idea of it. Like, would it be open on both ends?
No, it's only got one opening.
Like, one opening? What if you had 4 openings? Then you'd have like a huge, like, it'd spread warmth better.
It would be a furnace.
Then, well, if you have something to close it, it will be better. But if you
Young lady, I have an idea for the chimney. James is playing
dwarven-
Smite.
His dwarven nature.
I'm just checking something quickly.
Yeah, so as this glitter kind of like explodes everywhere, you see like it's hard to see, right, because it's just like a cloud of glitter, but you notice that like it does appear to be sort of revealing the form of some sort of creature, like this humanoid creature, for a few moments, and then suddenly, like as it's like settling down, something changes. Sheldrake, you no longer detect any undead creature, and the glitter that was clinging along this form begins to float down with the rest of it.
my lady, it has disappeared. Whatever you done has been.
Can you-
Whatever you did.
Make a religion check, Sheldrake.
Yeah. Anyway. Yes.
Oh damn, don't have religion.
So, observing this phenomenon and your knowledge of such creatures as this, it is likely, you think, that the creature, upon being exposed as such, has vanished to an adjacent plane of existence. The ethereal plane, yes.
Pussy down is what I'm hearing.
So I say, as this glitter bomb like exploding, like this glitter like starts falling. So congratulations, my lady. Whatever you did seems to have banished the entity.
you would definitely know that is not the case.
Yes, I definitely know that that's not the case.
But that's what you
Still
tell
saying
her.
it. Yeah.
I didn't expect it to work that well. Is it gone for good?
Oh no, it has merely retreated to the ethereal plane. I imagine it will be back momentarily.
Oh, great.
Should we prepare ourselves?
I don't really know.
I
if
can't
there's
fight
much-
ghosts.
Can we fight it, Sheldrake?
If I had a more preparation, then perhaps I could have. It's just like sort of play around with my like holy symbol.
I mean, would
Yes.
iron and steel work against it as well as it does a human?
Not effectively, no, but it depends on the kind of apparition it is and how lively it enters our plane of existence.
Yeah, is there freezing temperatures nearby?
As the steel and claws and other such things can hurt them slightly, or at least affect them. But one most effectively would need magic or some sort of, well, other implements.
Also, with your religion roll, Sheldrake, you would know that such apparitions and spirits as they are, they come in many different forms, and depending on the circumstances of what is binding them to this plane of existence, they can oftentimes be territorial or aggressive, traits that you notice some territoriality here, but if this was like an aggressive spirit, like it probably would have tried to attack you and kill you by now. The fact that it's just trying to drive you away leads you to believe that it's not the sort of like angry I'm going to kill everyone spirit that many people assume ghosts are. And given that fact, you figure that it would be possible in cases such as these, where the spirit isn't just like angered as much. It is possible to defeat them, quote unquote, by appeasing their regret or like something of the likes. You need not necessarily like fight it. Although you could just go to the church and hire an exorcism or whatever.
Yes. As is, well, given its current called its current disposition, I would say that this ghost, whatever it may be, whoever it may be, is not one of the aggressive kinds. I know there's a lot of adventurers tell tales of how they encounter ghosts and ghouls and tombs and have to fight them and drive them off with their swords and of their flashy stories and such. But the truth is that in many cases, ghosts remain in this world simply out of a lingering desire. In the cases of grudges, ghosts tend to be aggressive, but in cases of regret, longings, or some other kind of attachments, ghosts need not be hostile, merely territorial. It is quite possible that the ghost could be, if we can find a way to communicate with the ghosts, we could learn what its desire is, and if we can fulfill that, it could leave all on its own.
Would we be able to hold some sort of seance then to commune with the spirit? Maybe find out what binds it to this place and what it would take to leave?
Yeah, we could certainly try.
What do we need for that, Sheldrake?
Candles, chalk, salt, lots of salt. And
Smudge sticks.
smudge
From
yes.
from what you've observed so far, obviously, like the creature is capable of interacting with its surroundings. It's lifted and broken objects. It's capable like of manipulating surroundings. It obviously, like in its past life, knew and understood common, as it was able to write in common messages in the dust. However, it has not exhibited any signs of being able to communicate verbally, and is obviously like not visible to the naked eye.
So well, Sheldrake starts talking about this whole like ritual, chalk that we have to draw on the floor, and put down like making rings of salt and put down like candles and light them and such in a darkened room. And then as Sheldrake explains this, and then once this is all set up, we may put a piece of board in the center, paper, and perhaps a pen. And as we then try to, and after we as we call upon the ghost, we can ask it questions, and if it deems, and as it understands common, it should be able to understand us, and should be able to reply by writing on the paper with the pen.
Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
Very well.
It's not here right now, though, is it? You said it's gone.
Yes, but it should be, considering its territorialness to the tavern, it should probably return within the day or perhaps at nightfall. night does seem to be the time to do such things, after all.
Well, let's procure all the necessities then, and we shall return when it's decided to come back.
Excellent. I shall see right to it. I'm sure we have candles and wax at the manor, and salt. If Bassett
Yeah.
can be
If
persuaded.
Basic's not used at all.
If Bassett
Used
can be
all the
persuaded to
salt.
part with it.
Alright, Brad, I guess we go and procure the necessary components for a seance.
All right. Well, very well then. So as you all exit from the tavern, leaving behind this establishment, locking the door behind you, I assume. Fat lot of good it does with the broken windows. All
They
that.
get a glazier on this immediately.
I will.
As you all
inform them.
return to the Von Bourbon estate, let us take a short 5 or so a minute break there, and then we will be right back, and we will see where this seance goes.
Sweet. I'm gonna go get a drink of water. BRB. said no.
All right,
I mean,
we're back.
you
We're
can see
back,
me.
guys. We're back with the old. Well, I can't see everybody because somebody's missing. Missing the fun. So we are back here with the final part here of the Watderdhavian Job, and we are going to go ahead and skip forward a bit in time after you have pillaged all of the necessary seance materials from the Von Bourbon estate.
Oh, we can steal seance materials, but not furniture.
No, furniture is
It's
too much.
We're taking some candles and salt.
Just
Trust
like-
me, no one will notice.
your mother's just like, what's all this for? Like, don't mind. It's not important. Oh man. So you gather salt, incense, and candles and the likes, and return to the manor at night here, in the dark, a dark of night, in the Trollskull Manor, and you gather around in a spooky circle. And Sheldrake begins to draw a seance circle, I guess. So you
No,
all...
like, remind me, where did you learn to do this?
Are we really doing
Okay.
this?
Sheldrake just ignores me.
So Sheldrake, if you would please
Yeah.
make for me a religion check as you begin drawing the requisite circles and constructing the seance.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it's just like this is
Sheldrake is just fucking with us.
it is like this is what, like if like her mother asks what you're doing, I'm just like
All right, so you begin to go through the process of constructing the seance with a surprising aptitude and level of seriousness. It definitely looks real. Everything that you're doing, like real religious procedures.
I thought, I thought for sure we'd have to kill a goat or something.
As you finish,
I it's just, if you want to, we can procure. It does increase the effectiveness of the seance.
Oh no, I was just kidding.
it's a bit late at night to go to the local goat's blood dispensary. Anyway, so you finish drawing out the circle, laying down the candles, instructing each of the participants here to take the match, and one by one light these candles. Everywhere is like completely dark. There's only these flickering flames illuminating the tavern room. And at the conclusion of it all, you have finished preparing for this seance, and a whisper like kind of darkness settles in over the room, the light from the candles almost seeming to be suppressed by this dark atmosphere, and you can hear like rapping on the wall as if somebody's like kind of like banging on it in the distance. And a chill goes down your spine, Valerie.
Ugh. What now, Sheldrake?
So what is
Well, now we communicate with the ghost. Well, actually, first of all, I will once again cast Tiefling.
All right. So as you cast a spell, casting off your senses, and to the spirit realm beyond, you do feel this positive, negative force responding. The positive negative. There is an undead spirit sort of drifting its way lazily around, kind of like the outskirts, keeping its distance from you, but clearly like observing your presence. It does not appear to be agitated, but it is there, observing,
Yes.
watching.
So, honored fallen who walks amongst us still. And says, if you are here, please let your presence be known. We call upon you indeed.
All right. So, as you are gathered here around the circle. Can I have each of you make for me a perception check? Those of you that do not have dark vision, huh?
Oh, no, I just
It's a little bit of
can't see Force camera anymore.
There's a bit of lagginess going on.
I can see Thor's camera. I see my
It's-
baby boy.
I mean, I could see it. It's just pixels. Anyways, so yes, anyone who doesn't have a dark vision has disadvantage due to the dim light.
I'm blind.
So let's see, 14, 12, 19, 15. All right. So as you're saying this, Sheldrake, you're constantly keeping an eye on this like invisible force kind of out to the northern end of the room, and you as you're all focusing on this, Dricken, you begin to see movement, not coming from that area, but down near the southern area, kind of near
Wait,
the.
didn't you say something about dark vision?
Oh wait, you don't have dark vision either?
No, I don't have dark
Okay,
vision.
so you have 11. Okay, so then nobody. All right. So you're saying this, and there's like a brief like silence, and then Valerie, you hear like a creaking noise behind you on the floorboards.
Slowly turn around.
As you slowly go to turn around, you see emerging out of the darkness this large, kind of towering form, this cover like this basically like this pale white figure kind of like emerges up behind you slowly, and then you hear loudly next to your ear, "Boo!"
Fall to the other side.
And you all now see basically this, what is obviously like a furniture cover sheet, like emerge from behind Valerie, and then you just like hear this loud boo, and she just goes like startled over, and then you
So,
hear laughter, and then like
the
the
mace.
sheet like scatters.
And I hit it.
You can't. You're inside Valerie.
It's obvious to you after this has happened that it's not a ghost. It's like obviously just like a bed sheet draped over something, and you can hear giggling from inside.
Yank at the
Yes,
bed
and
sheet.
I don't feel. I feel the presence of the undead from some.
Yeah, somewhere else. Like it's like off in like the north of the room, just like observing.
I look at Worf like that. Ah, it seems we have disturbances from another kind of undead entities. I say, well, just calm now. Small folk. Make yourselves known here.
So the sheet begins to like move like back and forth with like basically like arms outstretched, and you hear the this voice coming from inside. Like there's this giggling, and then you hear this voice coming from inside. It says, "We are the great spirit of the troll skull. Leave this place." Ooh, and then just like more giggling.
That's, it seems there are more than one spirit here in the troll skull manor. Though this one appears more talkative.
Where is the sheet?
It's behind Valerie, like in the corner.
Can I like
over
walk
here.
up and just like flutter my wings at it to like blow the sheet off or something?
Yeah, you can certainly try. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just try and whiff the sheet off of them.
Yeah, as you like walk up, they're like, "What are you doing? Get away!" And you just sort of blast your wings, and the sheet goes flying off, and you see like underneath the three children that you saw earlier. Like basically, like the large one is holding like the girl on his shoulders, and like the boy is kind of like on her shoulders, and they're all like stacked up on top of each other. As you blow the curtain off of them, they like collapse backwards and begin to like scatter, like crying out in fear, basically, as you're like approaching them.
Stand up, for goodness sake! What are you all doing here?
And you see the tiefling boy sort of says like, "What are you doing here?" He says, "This is our playroom. We were here first. We found it first."
Yes, well, I own it, so get out.
And he just sort of says, "Oh yeah? Well, what proof do you have?"
I guess I like hold up the deed, like.
My lady,
like,
you don't need to. My lady, you don't need to prove this to children.
Oh yes, of course. I put the deed back. Anyway,
We have the deed to the manor. Because it is now under the ownership.
probably wouldn't have it on me now that I think about it. Anyway,
Yeah. We now have the. It is now under the ownership of Lady Valerie Cadencia von Bourbon. As such, you children are trespassing. Now, I must ask. It is quite late. Do your parents know where you are?
You see the tiefling boy just kind of like glares at you, and he just says, "Last I checked, nobody lived here." He says, "And as for our parents, don't have any."
As I suspected as much. Well, Brad, how is the like orphanage service in Waterdhav? Like, what's do we have any such establishments, or is it just?
I mean, they exist, but as with like most things, like it doesn't catch everybody, and like they don't have the manpower to keep an eye on all the like orphan kids in the city.
yeah, I think Valley would just like scoff and be like, "Well, if you don't have any parents, shouldn't you be at like your orphanage or something?
And
Whoever it is that looks after you."
we see the larger boy just sort of kind of like shyly says, "We left the place, and didn't like it."
Not
What?
surprised.
Why?
He says, "They were mean. Wouldn't let us have fun. Told us we couldn't become adventurous." And you see they're all like they have these like wooden swords at their hips.
I mean, probably a good thing.
It's not an unsurprising thing to say. Adventuring is a hard life after all, filled with danger.
I mean, we almost all
And-
died yesterday.
This is quite.
You see the young girl kind of makes a few like hand signs to the tiefling boy, who just sort of says, "We're not afraid of any danger." I said, "We three are going to be the best adventurers this city's ever seen. Just you wait."
Yes.
I'm sure you will.
Well, you can do that somewhere else, as this is now a gesture around my property. So, shoo now, and I'll let you know with the two hands, like shoo.
And he sort of like frowns. It says, "But this, it was so fun. We don't have anywhere else to go like this."
You don't have anywhere else?
He sort of like shakes his head.
You know, my lady, so long as they don't ruin anything, it's a large place.
And perhaps they could help us clean it up.
Conscience. Conscience! Fuck!
Alright.
Valerie lets out like a sigh. Like, fine, okay, you can stay for now while we're getting the place fixed up. just go upstairs for now. We're a bit busy down here.
Yeah. So you see
if I may interject, my lady, I would suggest they not leave. If they are to stay in this manner for the time being, they should not leave our sight. I look over towards where I know the ghost is, and it's just like, it's just like, after all, you must remember the place is haunted.
Fine. I sit back down at my spot in the circle, and I'll turn back. Be quiet for now.
Yeah, so you just go to like sit back. You see he's like pretty like happy when you said he could stay here, and they all kind of like gather around in the corner, kind of like piling up onto the broken table there, watching you.
Great, we have
and
children now.
after a few moments more, as you're just like sat there in silence, you just hear like what are you even doing anyways?
Right. Well, after we sit down, I will once again start start now chanting in Infernal. As I.
God! Shorty, God, his eyes roll to the back of his head. Starts getting really windy in here.
Yeah, as he's doing that, Valerie, you hear a voice, like a something like taps on your shoulder, and you hear a voice like, "Is he okay?"
What did I say? Be quiet.
It's just, but, and they just sort of like, the girl kind of like puts a finger to her mouth, and he just kind of like quietly looks back and just observes. So yeah, you're doing this like chanting and everything, and kind of like at the end of it, like what else do you do? What's like the next step? You still feel this like presence, like just keeping its distance, basically at, like the edge of your sensation.
Am I allowed to ask a question, Sheldrake?
Go ahead, my lady. I'll
Oh, spirit. And I like sort of gesture to like the paper and pencil that we've got in the middle of our little setup. Please transcribe for us the answers to our questions. Are you Leaf?
Yeah, so you detect like
Did you just ask it if it was Leaf?
Yeah, like the tavern owner.
You detect the spirit kind of like, it's not getting closer, but it's moving over from like the north of the room towards the bar, Sheldrake. And as it does so, you see there's still like a number of these like glass mugs and stuff along the bar, and you say that, Valerie. Suddenly, like one of the mugs kind of like is knocked off the bar and like shatters on the floor down below. This loud, like resounding, like smashing noise as it clatters to the ground. The children sort of like jump in fright at the sudden like loud noise, and kind of like pile
One
closer
smash
along
for
the
yes,
aisle.
2 for no.
Please, spirit, we only wish to understand you.
And then you, Sheldrick, you detect the spirit getting closer, moving its way towards the middle of this circle, and then you all see the quill pen begins to like lift in the air, and like scratches against the page, but it's not like writing like a lot. It basically just writes out in like huge letters, taking up the whole page, "Leave," with an exclamation point at the end.
leave. It says.
What do we do, Sheldrake?
What
You
is
said the
it?
spirit could maybe be reasoned with.
Indeed. Of course, not all spirits are open to that, but this one seems more amicable than the most. Say, and Alex says,
Indeed. Tell me you're the new owner.
as it's like, tell me, spirits, what is it that keeps you in this world? Why are you still lingering despite having perished?
I take the leave paper and put down a new piece of paper.
Just rip off a page.
Perhaps we may be able to help you alleviate your grief.
Can you make a persuasion check for me?
Certainly.
Can I assist? Never mind.
No assistance required. So there's like some hesitation, right, as you say this. But you can still detect the spirit like floating there, right in the middle of the circle. And eventually, like the paper begins to like float up with the pen, and it like begins rapidly, sort of like scratching on the book before the book like clatters back to the ground open with a number of like words written upon it. And you feel the spirit kind of like drifting off away from the circle. And as you like look down at the open book in front of you, Sheldrake, you see written on there the following. It says, "My dream was for this to be the greatest tavern in all Waterdeep. It says, until that is finished, I cannot rest, even in death."
Ah, well, you are in lockdown, spirit. I believe Lady Valerie here was meaning to make this fixing up and reopening this estate as a tavern.
Yes, that is true, Spirit. A tavern, inn, perhaps. Does this, if we were to fix this place up and make it what you always dreamed to be, would your spirit be at ease? Would you allow us to do so?
Yeah, so the spirit like takes another page, I guess, and just starts like writing because it can't talk, so it just is writing. And it says, and then when you read what it is written, it says, "You will ruin it. You will ruin my vision, as many others have come and tried to ruin it before. Only I know what's best. Leave this place. It is all I ask."
I ain't gonna let a spirit decide how I'm gonna make this place.
So it's like, well, I hate to break the news to you, but your dream, as it were, is currently going unfulfilled, even under your management, unless, of course, this moldy, dusty state is your vision of the greatest tavern in all of Waterdeep.
I love it when Sheldrake just gets sassy.
So yeah, there's more writing appears on the page. It says, "I will figure something out. I cannot trust you. I cannot trust anyone."
I understand. Trust is a hard commodity. It is, after all, a two-way street. It is difficult to trust others once one has been betrayed oneself. I imagine your death most likely must have come from some unfortunate consequence. Unforeseen, perhaps. Perhaps by a betrayal of some sort.
Your death, was it really an accident?
You see the words appearing as he writes, "I don't know." You sense the spirit drifting back over towards the bar, and a few moments later, you all see sort of emerging out from behind it what appears to be a small box of some sort, like lifts up and begins like floating out from behind. And then like sort of places itself in the center of the circle.
I guess I tentatively approach and open the box.
Yeah, the box is not locked and it opens up. It's old, like dusty. There's like cobwebs inside as you like pull it back. There's like a cloud of dust that like sprays up in your face. But you see there inside there is what appears to be like a rolled up piece of paper of some sort. And you just see words appearing on the page. It says, "My dream."
What is it?
As you like reach inside and like the paper's like pretty brittle, so you very carefully kind of like fold it out in front of you, and it ends up being like pretty large once you've like unfurled it, and it appears to be a sort of artistic rendering of this tavern room, in like full resplendence. essentially. You see like decorations and the likes, and it becomes pretty obvious, like looking at it, that it appears to be like this room that you're in when it was in a better state.
How nice we talking here.
It's like pretty nice looking, but you wouldn't describe it as like, high end, right? It looks as though it's like more of like a cater to everyone sort of thing than a cater only to the nobles sort of thing. But it's like nice looking.
Very nice. Not too nice to scare away anyone of maybe lower station, but definitely acceptable to anyone of any class. Quite good, actually. I like is it like multiple pages of like different parts of the inn?
No, it's just the one, right? It's just the one rendering of like the tap room itself.
If, spirit, we replicate the tavern in your image, would your spirit be appeased and be free to leave this world?
You see, there's a moment as the spirit like writes things out, and you see, I cannot rest until the goal is achieved. But prove that you are willing to work with me. Prove that you are willing to put forth the resources, the effort, and I shall assist you.
I look to Sheldrake. I have like that smile on my face.
Well, my lady, it seems that the choice here is obvious. It seems we have a choice before us. We can either appease the spirit by replicating the tavern in the image that this spirit won, or we can go and hire the exorcist and be rid of it.
You didn't mean that, spirit.
There's a pounding, a crashing noise.
Do you wish your own vision for this place, young lady, or to follow a specter's?
Well, like I said, I didn't really have much of an idea for how this place was going to look anyway, and this is pretty nice. And hell, I don't have to hire a designer.
And one can always, perhaps, the rumors of the haunting aside, while they at first can seem anti-establishment, how do I say this? Going against the establishment, rumors do attract customers. Says, just looked at the yawning portal. The story, the tale of the valve attracts people to the tavern. So if
Perfect.
a story of there being a ghost resident, completely harmless one, mind, of course, but a ghost resident, it might attract customers as well. You never know.
I like it. I'm in. Let's make this tavern the best in the city. Ghost tavern.
Yeah, so you at this point, like, you felt the spirit like moving back behind the bar after it had like dropped off this box, and you hear like the sound of like glass like clinking together, and you see like lifting up and like settling down on the dusty bar these four sort of like rather nice looking, albeit dirty, wine glasses. And you watch as like the smudges begin to, like, a cloth is pulled out, and the smudges begin to like be removed and kind of like cleaned up, and then you hear like a thunk as a bottle begins to like float in the air and kind of like pours itself into the glasses, which like kind of like slide in front of you. You're not exactly sure where that bottle came from. There wasn't, as far as you could see, there wasn't any bottles like behind the bar when you like came through this place at first.
Ghost bartender. Yes.
A ghost bartender. All right. Well, I'll take the drink, of course. Cheers. I'll have a drink.
Yeah, and as you drink it, well, if you did it so like half expectantly, right? Because all the wine you had discovered when you got here was all sour, turned to vinegar. However,
Yeah.
you were pleasantly surprised as like this does actually appear to be still like good, like flavored wine. again, you're not exactly sure like where it was or where it came from, but it tastes like pretty good. Like, I mean, it's not the best, but it's pretty good as you drink it.
Sweet.
And as you put the glass down, you see it like slide back behind the counter. This rag kind of like cleaning it off.
Excellent. So we
Alright.
have an agreement then?
Yes, Piers. So, I guess we'll send a couple guys to keep an eye on the place for tonight, and then tomorrow we'll take out all the broken, dusty, furniture and start remaking the place. And I turn to the kids. What are what are your lot names?
You say that, and the tiefling boy sort of like steps forward. Is like, I'm not really sure what happened here, but that was pretty entertaining. He says, and you see he's probably like the oldest of them, right? Like looking at him, and he says he points to himself like, I'm Squidly, and he says, and and he like points to the girl. She's Nat. She can't speak much, but we have our ways of talking. And then he points to the final boy, who's kind of like, he seems to be like obscuring himself, right? He seems like pretty shy, and he kind of like pokes his head out and he says, I'm Jenks. And you see he's like clutching what appears to be this old like ragged looking stuffed like owl bear like figure.
Is he a half-orc, or is that a mask? I can't tell.
It's a mask, yeah. He's
mask,
he's
right.
like he's a dark skinned, like he's a Tarami human, so.
Do they have NPC handouts, perchance?
I don't know if they have like an actual like handout for him. There's artwork.
I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they specifically, but they're like in like all the art. Oh, hey, look, here's the Troll Skull Manor. I was looking for this.
Oh, damn! That's creepy.
Yes.
On the rich side of town.
Laminated.
I think I've seen this in Barovia before.
Boy, are you saying they're reusing art?
No, I'm joking. I'm making a like, it just, when I saw the art, I just immediately thought of the Death House.
What?
Yeah, they are in the art. Look, they're right here.
Where?
As the picture I put in the chat.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's them. Those three.
Oh, look, here's another one of them.
Yeah, like I said,
Yeah,
they're like
There's a lot of them.
there's a lot. They're like there's one for every season, I think, that has them in there.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, look, they're
Anything
fighting
else?
the beholder.
What?
Yeah, look at the
Excuse me,
shadow.
Shadow.
Look at the shadow.
Oh god, what are the kids fighting a beholder?
Because Thanatar is one of the main baddies of the adventure.
I swear to god, if Xanathar comes for my kids, he's eating it.
Oh my god. Now, dibs, if I die, I'm gonna come back to play the nanny.
I hire a nanny to look after them.
Like, straight up dibs.
Alright. Cool. Well, I suppose then Valerie would be like, well, I suppose we should be getting home for the evening. After the kids introduce themselves, to be like, you three can, I don't know, do whatever. We'll be back tomorrow, probably.
I will see to the arrangements that they will get a place to sleep, my lady.
Huh? Oh, sure. Hey, give them the extra gold that we had, actually, that we couldn't decide what we were doing with. How much was it again?
1 gold and 2 silver pieces.
Yeah, give them that.
I'll, what you say.
How
And I will,
kind and generous.
I'm kind of generous, I say. Yep. As you say, my lady, I will walk up to the, all the tiefling kids, Squidly. And like, I'll hand him like a gold and 2 silver pieces. And
You can buy yourself some food with that, I imagine.
well, this is a bit late in the evening, but perhaps. I say it's like, I will be back shortly. And says I will get some blankets and bedrolls for you. Yes. And tomorrow we will start cleaning out this place. Yes. Allow me to introduce myself. most people call me Sheldrick, the Majordomo for Bone Estate. But amongst tieflings, I am known as Excellence.
And you see, he kind of like repeats the way repeats the word, but like he's a kid and it's like a big word, so he stumbles over it a little bit before like smiling, and he says, "Nobody's ever been this kind to us before." And he kind of like big beaming smile. He like pulls out his sword and he says, "Worry not, we'll defend this place from any would-be ne'er-do-wells."
Excellent.
You and the 2 armed guards I'll be sending. I'm sure the place will be safe as houses.
It appears we can. It appears we can cut expenses on the guards. I like chuckle.
Yeah, and so with that, I assume you make your way, returning back to the estate. Most of you, and I think that is where we shall end things off for this week. As you all return to the manor for whatever lies ahead of you. Now owners of this rundown, dilapidated old building, and
I'm now a property owner.
yes, next time we will see what happens and perhaps begin work on restoring this old building.
We gonna fix it.
I'm to level up.
And with that, the session is over, and yes, indeed, you have all advanced to the 2nd level. So go ahead and level yourselves up before next week, and we will meet again then. Until then, thank you all, and so long.
Do I